Here.
Brown,
Here.
Miles, Mojica,
Here.
Montez de Oca,
Here.
Newberry is absent, Parsons absent, Timmons,
Here.
Jablisco.
Here. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Mr. Brown, would you please read the invocation, please?
Yes. Heads bowed. Heavenly Father, we gather here today to serve you and to further the work of our great city. Give us the knowledge and the strength to do all you will, with the proper balance of eternal values and our present needs. May we accept our responsibilities and act with courage, considering the good of all. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay. Now at this time, Ms. Capone, could you please read the open public meeting statement?
Notice of this meeting has been sent to the official newspapers. An adequate electronic notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act as required by law.
May I have a motion and second for the approval of the March 10th, 2025 regular meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Mojica,
Yes.
Montez de Oca,
Yes.
Newberry's absent, Parsons absent, Timmons,
Yes.
Jablisco.
Do we have any council committee reports?
You have received the public safety report from Council Vice President Brooks.
Mr. Brooks?
Council President, thank you very much, and I'm pleased to present this public safety report. I see today in attendance we have Director Frank D'Erico. Thank you. It looks like you're walking around pretty nicely these days. It's good to have you here, sir. And I do appreciate the collaborative meetings that I've had along with Chief Law Enforcement Officer Sean Ganley. I'm not sure if he's here tonight, but if he's not, I'm sure he has a well-deserved day off. Okay, so I do want to go ahead and start reading some of the traffic summonses from April 4th into the 9th, so this is incredibly recent. The total summons issued for the police department were 534 moving with 34 parking written warnings. Now, there's also some ongoing traffic studies that's taking place on West Emmett Avenue. We talked deeply about this right here in regards to how we're going to continue to monitor this. But the first study took place on between April 2nd and April 9th, and it lasted for 7 days. Second study took place prior on October the 1st to the 8th, which also took place for 7 days. This was back last year. And some of the key speed data comparisons were the total vehicles in April were 72,185. Total vehicles for October was 70,336, which is roughly around the same. The average speed, however, for April was 4 miles on average higher at 37 miles per hour, whereas in October of last year it was 33. The fastest speed recorded in April has been 71 miles per hour on West Emmett, whereas the fastest speed in October was 65. Again, it's a bit slower. I mean, it's a bit faster leading up into April. Slowest speed in April was 6 miles per hour, and the slowest speed in October was 7 miles per hour. The posted speed limit for West Emmett Avenue is 25 miles per hour. I'm not sure if that is knowledge to everybody. It is a double line road. It does go through multiple counties. However, the speed limit is 25 miles per hour. There has been increased enforcement, but for whatever reason, the speed average has gone up. So as of April 2025, there's been 46,404 enforceable violations, 64% of the volume. Again, it's just reminding people that that particular area, from my opinion, is a 25 mile per hour speed limit. That, to me, is probably the most plausible explanation on why the speed has gone up so much. 21,411 enforceable violations, 30% of the volume. So that's a 34% increase for that particular area since the October 2024 baseline. Due to significant increases in enforceable violations, the following measures were initiated. So radar enforcement period from April 9th to the 23rd of this month. The locations will be West Emmett Avenue between Dukes Road, which is the border of Rahway and Colonia, and St. George Avenue. Units involved will be Patrol and Traffic Division. Weekdays, it would take place from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and on the weekends from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Enforcement actions and patrols. It's been an ongoing theme in my reports that we speak on. Our friends at El Patron, located at 873 New Brunswick Avenue. This past weekend, there were 2 DUI arrests and 1 disorderly conduct arrest after a physical altercation. All incidents referred to the ABC liaison in the law department. There also has been city ordinance enforcement taking place on March 25th, where 4 mills were cited for an open container violation. 1 individual was eventually arrested for, I believe it was a warrant that was outstanding for that gentleman. That was cut off in the print. My apologies. As far as school safety is concerned and quality of life initiatives, ongoing enhanced presence at Rahway High School and in the middle school campuses, downtown QOL enforcement, reinstatement of coordinated quality of life operations, hence the abbreviation. Citizens complaints and pedestrian safety, the Meridia brownstones on Elizabeth Avenue and Jackson Avenue. We're looking into other ways to offset some costs regarding flashing pedestrian signs, so that burden won't go on the taxpayer. And we did have our police present at the Taste of Spring, which was highly successful and incident-free. And you can certainly expect our police to be at Hot Rods and Harleys. There's been meeting and planning events that have been already taking place. Thank you once again to our Chief Law Enforcement Officer, Sean Ganley, and to our Director. Look forward to presenting next month. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Good report again. Now at this time, Mayor comments.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I'm thrilled to share that the Taste of Spring was a tremendous success this year. It was completely sold out in just 10 days. This beloved event brought together over 30 Rahway businesses, along with standout establishments from neighboring towns. It was truly a celebration of our local culinary scene, community spirit, and creativity. 8 awards were presented, recognizing the very best in categories like Best Handheld Food, Best Dessert, Best Display, Best Taste, Best Drink, Best Craft Beer, Best Entree, Best Appetizer. It's truly one of my favorite events of the year, filled with community, laughter, and of course, amazing food. A heartfelt thank you goes out to our SID, to our Special Improvement District, our SID, our Recreation Department, Department of Public Works, Health Department, Police Department, EMS, Fire Department, and the volunteers and judges who helped make this event possible. Your hard work and collaboration did not go unnoticed. And I think the public should understand that when we throw these events, it takes a large group of individuals throughout different departments to put it together, and it's not an easy task. So kudos, great job, everyone, and thank you so much. I look forward to next year's Taste. Looking ahead, we have more exciting events coming up that continue to showcase our city and the vibrancy of it. We have an Autism Awareness Series, RCAO Easter Egg Hunt, April 19th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have block parties coming up, April 24th and May 1st, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Mind Your Wellness event, April 26th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Walk with the Mayor, May 3rd at 9:30 a.m. The NJ Arts Train, May 3rd, 11 a.m. And of course, Hot Rods and Harleys, May 10th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. There's something for everyone, and I encourage all residents to come out, get involved, and continue to make Rahway the amazing community we are all proud to call home. For more information you can find on these events, you can find it on our website or our social media platforms. On a final note, I'd like to wish a very happy 65th birthday to my good friend and Rahway resident, Victor Gonzalez, or as my friends know him, Big Vic. Victor, I hope you're listening. Happy 65th birthday, and I hope you're celebrating it around loved ones, family, and friends. Thank you, Council President, for the time to speak. God bless everyone, and have a good night.
Okay, Ms. Capone, is there anyone else, bills or communications?
You have received the payment of bills, the police report, and the fire report for the month of March.
Okay, thank you. Now, at this time, the council requests Mr. Landolfi provide us with a summary of the ordinance and resolutions that will be on the list of the agenda today.
Thank you, Council President. If I could, we're going to start with ordinances, and there are several on tonight, and there are several resolutions, some of which I'll explain more fully. The first ordinance really is an outgrowth of our negotiation with the PBA. There is a provision in that contract for the payment of what we call extra duty jobs. Those payments have to be embodied in an ordinance, and in effect, what this ordinance does is reflects the MOU that you approved several months ago, and the contract that we'll be approving in the near future. The second ordinance and the third ordinance, they're primarily housekeeping, although Ordinance 1525 is a direct result of a citizen's request for some resident parking. We are going on Richard Boulevard. We're asking you to introduce that on first reading tonight. Ordinance 1625 we're going to pull, or we're going to ask you not to move on that ordinance this evening. We've had ongoing dialogue with several residents. They've made some comments to us. As opposed to having them come in the hearing of citizens, we're just going to request that you pull that ordinance. In fact, the next ordinance is a companion ordinance to that. We are going to ask you to move on that, and I'll speak more fully on this next month. It's our intent to perhaps revise Ordinance 1625. I'll speak more fully on that next month. 1725, the companion ordinance, in effect, would specifically ban in 2 redevelopment districts, boarding and rooming houses. There was a question as to whether or not those uses were banned in those redevelopment areas. So it's somewhat of a housekeeping issue, but really it relates back to an initiative that we're looking to implement with regards to situations of overcrowding in some of our residential neighborhoods. So I'll speak more fully on that next month, but that is in effect what Ordinance 17 does. It clears up those two zones. And the last ordinance we're asking you to move on first reading, 01825, modifies our existing Uniform Construction Code fees, where we've traditionally liked to be is in the middle of the county in terms of fees that are charged for the various subcode inspections. That's what this ordinance does. In fact, one of the fees that's embodied in it will actually be reduced. So it's in line with other Union County communities, and over time we'll be able to generate some additional revenue. On to resolutions, and several of these are what I'm going to call housekeeping, run of the mill. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on a few of them and talk about how they relate back to some initiatives that the mayor has asked us specifically to embark on and implement. So I'll spend a little more time on several of these. The first ordinance certainly is just housekeeping and awards fuel dispensers for both municipal building and DPW. We have a contract for removal of several trees. AR 9725, just to spend a moment here, historically, public notices and other types of public communications have to be published in legal newspapers. That is still a requirement. It is very expensive. It is becoming very cumbersome. It's a real added burden on the clerk because print media, and we all know it, is fading away. So it's become extremely difficult for us and for the clerk to accomplish some of those goals. some of those requirements are not goals in terms of publishing. This is urging the state legislature to take action to remove that requirement and give us the ability to provide that public notice, which we'd be more than willing to do. We're all about transparency, but to do it in a way other than publicizing it in the print media. AR 9825, and if you look at this, the resolution records. What we started to do, just as a reminder, is record some of the mayoral appointments in the official records. These are not advised. This one is not an advised and consent resolution. Rather, it simply records for posterity the appointment that the mayor is making. Next resolution, and we are going to spend a minute and talk about this because it's a very specific initiative of the mayor's. And that is what the resolution awards a contract for the purchase installation of cameras specifically in the downtown, but it's part of a citywide initiative that the mayor has embarked on to provide CCTV cameras throughout the community. So we started in the downtown. This is in addition to that. It's the purchase of the cameras, the additional hardware that's required, and the installation. I think it's important that we note that this contract is awarded pursuant to a grant that we received through the legislature. Senator Scutari was very helpful, as were our assembly representatives, in obtaining that. It was $1 million grant. We were able to bring the purchase in and accomplish our goals for this phase. It's slightly less than the total grant amount, and it's being done pursuant to a Union County contract. So it's a great initiative. This will greatly enhance the next phase, and we're looking forward to building out that system further as we go along. Something else we've talked about previously is the desire to make the gallery space a site that can be accepted by the historic register. Make it an historical site and get it onto the National Historic Register. We received a grant to do that, to start in that planning process. What we're asking you to do tonight is award a contract to a firm that specializes in that will help us put that application together and do the planning work and the architectural work that's required to make the submission, and that's the next phase of the process. We do think at the end of the day we're going to be successful in getting the gallery space recognized. Under recreation, the next grant, the next resolution approves and authorizes application for a grant that will be administered through recreation. It also requires that we comply with the audit requirements. This is a grant that we get every year. The next two resolutions are really one plays into the other. The first one authorizes the participation in a cooperative pricing program. That's the Hunterdon County Educational Services Co-op. The next resolution authorizes the purchase of a bus for recreation, utilizing that co-op as the mechanism to do it. The next three resolutions are housekeeping, their refund of taxes, overpayments, etc. AR 107 authorizes a contract with Najmi Associates, who does our IT. They're behind the scenes. They do our IT now. It just continues that contract. AR 108 authorizes appointing our CFO as our PACO, our PACO, which is our Public Agency Compliance Officer by statute. That is a required position. The woman who held that position recently left, moved out of state, so that we have to appoint someone in their place for the remainder of this year, and that would be our CFO. Next resolution under the fire department is the purchase of a pumper truck through a co-op. And I want to spend a minute and talk about this. And there's really two parts to it. And I've heard Chief Roberts joke that a fire department is like an insurance policy. You never want to use it, but if you need it, you hope you have a good one. And in Rahway, we really do have a good fire department. Under the chief's leadership, I think it's one of the truly outstanding departments, not only in Union County, but throughout the state. What we're doing, or what we're asking you to do tonight, and I said there were two parts to this, is to purchase a new piece of equipment. No matter how good your training, your supervision, your leadership, your execution is, at the end of the day, you need good equipment. We're providing that equipment through this purchase. The second part of it is, and this goes to our residents, is your insurance rates, and this is for homeowners. Your insurance rates for fire insurance, in part, are a function of an organization called ISO, Insurance Services Organization, and a rating that they place on the equipment and manpower, staffing, et cetera, that you have in your fire department. So the amount of equipment, the age of the equipment, the efficacy of the equipment, all goes into determining what that rating is. So when we make purchases like this, it helps us maintain a rating, a higher rating with ISO, which has a direct impact on what homeowners pay for fire insurance. The mayor is dramatically aware of that. He reminded us of that when we were discussing this purchase, so that it has impact not only on the fire department and their ability to fight fires, but also a direct impact on residents in maintaining our ISO rating and helping to keep constant or reduce their insurance premiums. Next resolution authorizes the police department to participate in a Department of Defense program for the acquisition of excess equipment. I don't think we have anything planned at this time, but it gives us the permission to do that. Next resolution, again, under the police department, authorizes the fiber internet contract that they currently have. The next one, and I'm sure you're all aware of this, authorizes the closure of streets for hot rods and Harleys. We have that coming up, and I apologize because I forget the date, but that is in the offing in early May. I don't know if anybody can help me with that. Thank you, Councilman. What this does is it authorizes the street closure. Under engineering, and again, a lot of this is run-of-the-mill, we have ratifying a payment. I'm saying ratifying because this was on an emergency basis. The work was done to Berto Construction for a manhole replacement. There's an execution of a contract with CME with regards to our roadway improvements and them acting providing administrative services. There's a resolution authorizing a contract with T&M Associates for the design of the Paseo Improvement Project. That's another project that that the mayor has put forth as initiative. It's part of a larger initiative, and that's to improve our downtown park structure. We're going to, last month, I think you approved the approved the construction contract for improvements to MLK Park. This meeting, we're asking you to approve a design contract for the Paseo and provide upgrades there. In the near future, I think we're going to be asking you to acquire a piece of property on Cherry Street where we're going to convert that into a pocket park. That's all part of, as I said, the mayor's initiative to enhance both the aesthetics, but very specifically the number, the type, and the quality of parks that we have in the central business district. Next resolution authorizes a contract with Hiram Gruhl for professional planning services for the preparation of a master plan and probably the resulting ordinances, not the preparation of a master plan, for a master plan review, which is much different than the preparation of a master plan. We're asking you to authorize a change order of a contract for professional engineering services with regards to a project that's currently in the mill. That's the Witherspoon outfall improvement. Next, we have, and again, getting back to parks, it's the acceptance of a bid for the creation, the construction of pickleball courts at Tully Field. I know Anthony Deege is very happy about that. For all of you pickleball players, this will be a great addition. I am personally not one of them, so I will not be participating in that sport. Our next resolution, AR 11925, authorizes an extension of our contract for GIS. Just to spend a moment talking about this. Back in COVID, when we were trying to track where we had COVID cases, where we might have clusters, where we had severity of incidents, we were looking to try to quantify and qualify that. The mayor asked if there wasn't software out there that we could do that with. Jackie Fouché was our municipal engineer at the time. She looked into it and came back and said we can actually use GIS as a mechanism to do that. We did that very successfully during COVID. That use has now been expanded. You can expand that system to use it to map and track things like your stormwater system, your sanitary system, in our case, the water system. So we've expanded the use of GIS. It's extremely helpful to the operating departments and the public as those layers go live and the public's able to access that information. Next resolution, and we're going to spend a moment and talk about this one too. It authorizes a feasibility study of a new water treatment technology that may be applicable to our water treatment plant. We're not sure if it is or it isn't. It's a complex method of treatment. It really, and we've talked about this a little bit in the past, it's really adjunct to reverse osmosis. So it may work, it may not work. The problem with it, or the issue with it, with that technology in the past, one of the big issues in addition to initial outlay is the ongoing maintenance costs that are associated with it. And the treatment and removal of the byproduct of that treatment. This firm thinks that there's technology out there that would cost effectively allow us to implement reverse osmosis as a treatment strategy and dramatically reduce the ongoing maintenance costs. So we're asking you this evening to authorize that feasibility. Next resolution under code enforcement, and I'm sure you're aware of this. When we do code enforcement, the idea is to get compliance so that when you have somebody that, by way of example, has a lawn that's overgrown, we issue a notice. We ask them to cut their lawn. If they don't cut their lawn, we will cut it. When we do that, we incur an expense. When we incur an expense, we come back to you and ask you to put a lien on the property. That's what we're doing here. There are several properties that we've had to maintain for various types of code violations. We spend money to do that. We're entitled to reimbursement. The way we do that is by placing a lien on the property, and the mechanism to do that is a resolution. Ms. Shepherd asked me to specifically explain this next one. It's a resolution authorizing an interlocal agreement with Clark for the provision of emergency court services. We are providing those services. We are not obtaining those services. So we will be providing, if you act on this resolution, emergency court services to Clark. Under administration, another recording of a mayoral appointment. I believe that's the next two, to the Environmental Commission. Again, they are not advised in consent. They are recording the appointments. And I believe that's all we have under resolutions. The ordinances that are listed are all on second reading and up for final adoption. So, Council President, that's a review of the ordinance and resos, unless you have questions.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Mr.
All
Landolfi.
right, thank you, Council President.
Okay. This is the hearing section for the citizens portion of the meeting. Citizens have 5 minutes to speak on the resolution. The first reading ordinance is listed on the agenda only. The second reading ordinance will have their own public hearing. Now, at this time, Ms. Capone, does anyone have anyone on our list to speak?
Yes, Bernice Young. This is the public hearing.
Just state your name and address, please.
Once again, I want to thank the mayor and the council for the spring lunch at Estabrook and the breakfast, lunch for your birthday. Hamilton staged the discount tickets for Pearlie, and the block party's coming up, and our cookout is coming up. I hope we get a new cook for better food. It's nice to reminisce with people we haven't seen because of the virus, but we like to have better food. And we have a problem with our neighbors that have moved away. They're like the Ark, they're banging on the door, they want to come back to Rahway. So I don't know if they have the price, they used to be able to pay a price to come back, but they're missing a lot in their hometown, and everything's working fine. Thank you.
Ms. Capone, anyone else?
Dominique Muhammad.
Greetings to the mayor, councilmen, brothers and sisters.
Your name and address, please, for the record.
My name is Dominique Muhammad, 876 Rayhan Terrace. 876 Rayhan Terrace. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. To the mayor, to the commissioners, brothers and sisters, elected officers, I'm going to be brief. On behalf of Master El Hadi, I'm coming to the board to put something on record, on the minutes, that we would like to have an interfaith community iftar throughout the county for Ramadan 1447, which is February and March 2025, inshallah. And what I'm asking is to get a committee of 3 or 4 members from your town to sit down and plan an iftar in this town. I'm going to make this proposal to Linden, Roselle, Elizabeth, Hillside, and Rahway. We have plan a few meetings, and then be able to present what we come out of the meeting to the commissioners. At this time, that'll be all. but it's just something I want to put on the records, and hopefully that I can get someone to help me plan. I can leave my phone number with someone to get in touch with me to help me further this situation down the road, to kick the can down the road, to have an iftar in this town. I greet you as I came to you with the greeting words of Assalamu Alaikum, and thank you very much for your time and your understanding. Masjid El Hadi and Elizabeth on Broad Street.
Ms. Capone?
Michael Smenko.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, administration, and council. I come before you today.
Need your name and your address, please.
I'm 1015 Richard Boulevard in Rahway, 6th Ward. I come before you today about the ordinance 1525, and I'm specifically in favor of the moves that council has made so far. I've spent, as a homeowner, 46 years of my entire life here in Rahway, but 46 of those years as a homeowner on Richard Boulevard. And of course, you all probably know the pluses and minuses that come with living next to a high school, grammar school, and middle school. There are good things and bad. We have not experienced traffic problems with students parking. I want you to know that. The students who have cars, it would seem, are just, they would rather find a parking space that's closer to the school where they want to go. There may be other reasons why there are parts of Richard Boulevard that may need some regulation, because I know I drive through there on a daily basis, and I'm sure that a number of you do. So make those regulations as you need, but it's important that as residents we are able to park our extra vehicles, and we happen to have 3 people with vehicles in our household, and we just need the space. So it's my hope that you will move forward. It's been promising so far. This is not the first time I've asked this council in many years to look toward this, and it's the first time actually that I can feel that there is a positive movement. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If I can, Council President,
Yes,
I'd just
Mayor.
like to take the opportunity to thank Director D'Erico, Chief Law Enforcement Officer Ganley, for addressing that situation and coming up with a solution for the residents. So thank you to the PD.
Ms. Capone?
Kwani Palmer Chambliss.
No, I want a second reading ordinance. Thank you. Thank you.
And Kalashia Lloyd.
Hi there, Kashila Lloyd, 171 Iva Street in Rahway, New Jersey. I wanted to make several comments about a couple of things. The first one being our water. I'm excited to see that we are looking into something around reverse osmosis. I have a child that suffers from severe eczema, and our water is not at all helpful to that. And during the recent snowstorm, as you all probably have seen, like the levels were things that were just completely unacceptable for our town and for our citizens. And I hope you all have taken that very seriously and are moving very quickly to do that, because it is detrimental, and as a homeowner, to not feel comfortable having my children in the water, or feeling like I need to take an extra expense or a home equity loan out to put in a system in my home myself to ensure the safety for my children, is something that I think none of you all would want to have to do for yourselves, and I would hope that you all wouldn't want to have all the citizens of Rahway have to consider that for their own families. So I really do, and I know the water company has come in here and said several times, as I've heard them when I was home, around how safe our water is and how we shouldn't It is not. It is not. If you even tasted it or looked at the water at the time, or even now, it is not. So I really do hope you all either, really figure out a way to really fix this in a way that doesn't, that really helps us all. My second thing was to speak on the library. I'm very saddened that Kat has retired from the board, and I see the mayor has made a new appointment. I really do hope the council continues to keep an eye. Obviously, it is not in your purview. The board is separate, but ensure that our library is utilizing its funds in a way that helps deliver a better library experience for our citizens. The most recent board meeting had a budget that was approved out of executive session after public meeting had ended, which is, hey, that's totally up to them. However, I do want to make sure that we all are responsible for the library citizens, and you all are residents of the town as well, and we ensure that the board and the people of the board are doing what's best to ensure that we have a better library system than we have today, because what we have is the bare minimum, and I don't think that the citizens of this town, myself included, are deserving of the bare minimum. The other thing I would want to comment on is the TVs that we're adding to downtown. I think that's great for safety, but also that is a big privacy issue. So I do want to ensure to understand, as you guys are putting these things in place, what are the notifications around the citizens around their privacy as they are going to be filmed, and how are they going to be notified of that, and who will have access to that camera and those records, and how that will be constructed. And given that we have a second reading on anything that we do want to get through the Public Open Act requires a fee, I assume anything recorded on these CDs will be the same. So I think just being mindful of that and how that how that impacts people's privacy, as well as the ability of others to access that as well. Just wanted to make that. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all that signed up.
Now, is there anyone to my right over here that speak?
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Clerk. Lisa Vandiver, 254 Oak Street. I'm here tonight with a few concerns about transparency and accountability. And that's a continued theme. First off, on the Rahway website, we used to include listing of all the committee meetings, council meetings in that overall calendar. Now it just shows fun things to do, which is great. But I think there are a lot of people in our town who would want to keep up on these events, and you really have to track them down to figure out who is meeting where and when. We're doing a much better job of getting minutes up in a timely manner. One concern is we're not consistently putting the videos up. I noticed we're missing December and January. February's up there. Hope March is coming up, and let's hope April's up there soon. For those of us who can't always make it, I have elderly mother in LA, so I travel a lot, and I'm not always able to make it, but it's nice to be able to check in and see what's going on. Along the same lines, I would encourage all of the boards, committees, to add some kind of access, virtual access. I was very upset during the library board meeting a couple months ago. I had COVID and was home for that, and somebody had made a suggestion, hey, we have the technology, why aren't we making this available to the public? And there was a comment that, well, I bothered to get here, and so should everyone else. Particularly for the library board, where you have senior citizens who might not want to come out on an icy night, parents who are home with their children. I think that would be a real benefit to your community if you would make that happen. I know that's a library issue, but it seems like everything is integrated, so wanted to bring that up. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Council President, if I may just comment to that, and I know this is out of practice, but I share the same concern that Ms. Vanderveer had in regards to the meetings being posted online. As the mayor is my witness and a few others, I did, inquire about that. There was, I believe, a copyright strike in regards to, I think, at least 2 of the videos for the council meetings, which that has since been fixed. So it was posted, but it was immediately hit with a copyright strike. So it has been resolved, so thank you.
Okay. Now to my left.
Good evening. Jeff Robinson, 244 Stanton Street, Rahway. I'm the chair of the city's Environmental Commission, and I'll be speaking on behalf of the Environmental Commission on a few resolutions. The first one is AR 120, and that's the resolution authorizing a contract between the City of Rahway and Prestige Environmental Incorporated for professional environmental engineering services for a water treatability study using AEC technology. Mr. Landolfi did touch on this a little bit, but these professional services would involve a study to evaluate the applicability of the aqueous electrostatic concentrator, or AEC technology, to treat the PFAS chemicals that are currently in Rahway's water, and I should say in pretty much every water system in New Jersey and around the country. As you might have heard, well, first of all, I just want to say that it's glad to see that the city is being proactive in addressing PFAS in our drinking water. We've been finding out over the past several years that PFAS chemicals pose very serious threats to human health, and they have no place in our water, our air, our foods, anywhere in the environment. And while the PFAS chemicals in Rahway's drinking water is below the limits set by the state DEP and even the federal government, the EPA, there's really no safe limit for these terrible chemicals in our drinking water. So hopefully this study will show that this new technology will reduce, maybe even be able to eliminate PFAS in the drinking water. We'll see. And also at the same time be cost effective. So later in the year, the Environmental Commission will be taking a tour of the city's water facilities that we do every couple of years, and maybe we'll find out a little bit more about this. But again, we're glad to see that the city is being proactive on this issue. And then just briefly, AR 123 and 124 regarding the appointments to the Environmental Commission to fill 3 vacancies. First of all, these people we think will be great additions to the Environmental Commission, and we're looking forward to having them and working with them on the Environmental Commission. And I just would like to thank the mayor and the council, and especially our council liaison, Joanna Miles, for accepting our recommendations of these individuals. And hopefully you will approve that tonight, and we'll have them on we'll have a full Environmental Commission again. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay. Of the public meeting,
Make a motion to close.
I second.
so move.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Mojica,
Yes.
Montestioka,
Yes.
Newberry's absent, Parsons absent, Timmons,
Yes.
Jablisco.
Yes.
Council President.
Yes, sir.
No reports, but just a comment, sir. I'd like to tag on to or add on to Councilman Brooks' police report. I want to commend Cleo Ganley and Director D'Erico, but I wanted to specifically expand on the idea of tickets. We know that no one likes tickets and no one likes taxes, but we also know that there's a reason for that. I wanted to provide a little bit of context for that. The number one things that contributes to loss of life during motor vehicle accidents is speeding, and then it comes careless driving. Rahway Police Department has been on top of that for quite a while, and is certainly being reinforced with Director D'Erico to ensure that their officers get out there and provide deterrents for people to speeding, and those deterrents come by the way of warnings and tickets. So when Councilman Brooks speaks of the number of tickets, it's not designed as a revenue builder. We want to really push that point. It's about public safety, and it's about acting as a deterrent to ensure that the public, one, obviously no one wants to get a ticket, so maybe they'll slow down or drive a little bit safer, but that's the goal behind that.
Thank you, sir. Okay. We're going to move to ordinance first reading, 01325. Mr. Capone, could you read?
An ordinance amending Chapter 5, Administration of Government, Article 17, Department of Police, Section 5-69, Detective Bureau, and Section 5-71, Special Duty Jobs, Salary and Vehicle Fees of the Code of the City of Rahway.
And that'll be Jibilisco and the entire council. Any questions from the council? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Miles? Yes. Mohica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent, Parsons absent, Timmons?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes. Mr. Capone, could you read 01425?
An ordinance amending Chapter 401 of the Code of the City of Rahway, Vehicles and Traffic, East Cherry Street.
That'll be Brooks and Mohica. Any questions from my council? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Miles? Mohica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent, Parsons absent, Timmons?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes. Ms. Capone, 01525.
An ordinance amending Chapter 401 of the Code of the City of Rahway, Vehicles and Traffic, Richard Boulevard.
That'll be Brooks and Timmons. And, any council comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent, Parsons absent, Timmons?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes. Okay, 01625 has been pulled. We'll go to 01725.
No. An ordinance of the City of Rahway to amend the Municipal Code of the City of Rahway, Chapter 421, Zoning, Article 4, Zoning Regulations, the Central Business District Redevelopment Plan, and the Arts District Redevelopment Plan to prohibit boarding rooms and rooming houses.
That'll be Jibilisco and the entire council. Any council comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry and Parson are absent, Timmons?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes. 01825.
An ordinance amending Chapter 177, Construction Codes Uniform of the Code of the City of Rahway.
And that'll be Jibilisco and the whole council. Any council comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry and Parsons are absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes.
Ordinances 013-25 through 018-25 are deemed adopted on first reading and will come up for public hearing and final adoption on May 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m., with the exception of 016-25, which is pulled.
Okay. Moving to resolutions, Mr. Capone, could you please read Resolution AR 25-25?
95-25, a resolution awarding a purchase contract for the replacement of existing fuel dispensers to be installed at Rahway Public Works and the Rahway Police Department.
Miles and Brooks. Mr. Capone, could you read AR 96-25?
A resolution awarding a contract for removal of 10 city trees.
That'll be Mohica and Montez. Any questions or comments? Could you please read AR 97-25?
A resolution urging state leaders to pass legislation authorizing the publishing of legal notices of on official government websites.
Timmons and Brown. Any councilman questions or comments? If not, AR 98-25.
A resolution recording the mayor's appointment to the library board.
Jibilisco and the entire council. Any questions or comments from the council? AR 99-25.
A resolution of